Dustin Poirier has one of the strangest UFC careers of all time. How can a fighter of his caliber not win a UFC title, being that he won 20 UFC fights? His record in non-UFC title fights is 21 wins and 4 losses. His record in UFC title fights, and yes, I'm counting the BMF title, is 1 and 4. He won 5 years ago against Max Holloway, the interim lightweight championship of the world, which was a big accomplishment, especially for Poirier fighting so long in the UFC, not only getting a shot at the title, but winning the interim lightweight champion. And he was one fight away from truly setting up his future forever. He lost to Khabib via rear naked choke. He lost to Charles Oliveira 3 years ago via rear naked choke. Lost to Justin Gaethje in the BMF title fight via head kick knockout. Absolutely devastating knockout. Then he lost this past June to Islam Makhachev via Darce choke. Each and every single title fight that he's lost was extremely devastating. Each and every single title fight that he lost was by finish, mostly by a choke. Why was that? Why do you think he lost in that way? That's because he made a deal with the MMA devil himself. Whoever that might be, I don't know. I'm going to go with War Machine because he's no longer in the promotion. But he made the deal with the MMA devil himself that basically said, hey, you could get all this money over here, but you're not going to get a belt. And by the way, every fighter is fighting for money. I'm not knocking Dustin for fighting for money. I'm not knocking any fighter for trying to set up their future financially. Hell, every single fighter should do that. Every single fighter should fight comfortably enough for money to where they could turn down fights like Demetrius Johnson is doing to Pantoja, because Demetrius Johnson has made so much more money outside of the octagon to where he's good. So every fighter should fight for their financial future. Everyone should fight for financial freedom. I'm not knocking him for that. But what I will say is him choosing the money fights, a la the 2 Conor McGregor fights, that is what led to his demise. He had that shocking, insane knockout 3 years ago of my all-time favorite fighter, Conor McGregor, and he not only proved that he is a bona fide contender and UFC Hall of Famer, he proved that he can and possibly will win a UFC Lightweight World Championship. But that's when it went all downhill from there, because after the second fight in April 2021, he accepted the third fight with Conor that happened in July of 2021. As per reports, he is reported to have earned more than $5 million, making it his biggest purse as of yet, and probably the biggest purse he's had in his entire career. And people even were saying, as the Conor fight was announced, that Dustin did the smart move. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not knocking him for chasing the money fight, because had he defeated Conor again, he would automatically waltz right into a title shot. I can't believe it's been 3 years since Poirier was this close to winning undisputed gold. Sure, you could say the guillotine he had on Khabib, aka Khabib, was the closest he came. But after he dropped Charles, the MMA devil said, wait, never mind. You made that deal with me back in January 2021. So you're going to get a taste, but you're not going to win the whole thing. And what happened in round 2? Well, he got utterly dominated. So many people said his grappling was up to par against Conor, but when it was up against Charles, it was no match. It was literally as unmatched as when Kevin Durant was on the Warriors and you were just another team. And what happened in round 3? Well, he got choked out into oblivion by arguably the greatest finisher in UFC history. But the MMA devil let him have a few more tastes of success. He defeated Michael Chandler in a pretty good fight, but then he fell in the BMF title fight against Justin Gaethje in devastating fashion, which led him to contemplate retirement. Never fear, though, he came back and fought a young gun, a guy that not many people actually heard of, in Benoit Saint-Denis. Knocked him out cold the same way that a croissant knocks me out, because I don't really like them. They mess up my stomach.